Alright. Gotta make sure the volume is working bright. And then... Alright, yeah, that's fine. Cool. Spudge Crucker. Alright, so... back for another strem and another unsettling thumbnail. I want these thumbnails to get worse and worse. I want them to be awful. I want some things in my internet presence to be awful. Other than, of course, the stuff I talk about. Hello, Valor. Going to Sprudge the Cruskers. Valor is doing therapy. Are you doing therapy or are you in therapy? I'm not sure what you're saying. Cress Brepskindridge. Alright, so. Copy that. I'm sharing it on Tweltor before I continue. Ah, good for you. So you're so what, you're practicing what you're learning in your psych classes? Brass craskers. Oh, also I'm gonna do the thing here. I gotta hit the support. Gotta tell people that they can give me money if they want. I have sent the 12th. So now time to blow it up in some surveyors and shit. Alright. So, we got that. Gonna share this. Alright. There we go. Alright. So, gonna post this in live. Say here. And then that. And then post this in their group. And then a few other places. Apologies for the silence. I've been a little distracted lately. There, and also there. Cool. So, now I can actually talk. I don't want to be like Keffels and just have like massive blank periods at like during the stream. At least this is in the beginning. But yeah. Troll says, this is sounding like when I made MySpace themes. They were cancer. The worse they were, the more popular. Yeah, well, because the thing is, this stream isn't for, like, you know, some super elaborate thing. If it ever gets that way, like, still being like this, then I'll be thankful because I could use the audience. But the point of these streams is to interact with audience. So if I post all the right tags and this starts to get massive audience, and like my current audience which came to interact with me isn't able to, it's like, what's the point in that? So these ones specifically I want to be sort of opaque, sort of like, if you know about these streams, you're on a weird part of the internet. You know. So that's why I do the repellent thumbnails. That's why I do the titles like this, the fucking bullshit description. Like, I this week's description is fucking pipsch zlange. Like, these aren't fucking words. I want things to be chill, and I want this to be an opportunity for the people who are subscribed to talk to me. So I don't want this to be SEO friendly. That's not the point of these streams. But if you want to invite your friends to talk things out with an anarchist conspiracy theorist, feel free. But that's the other purpose of the thumbnail and title and shit, is that I want these streams to be sort of like, your friend would know what they're getting into after they click the fucking thing. So, that. Valor says he's practicing it on a Discord because he offers emotional support on a certain server. Good. Yeah. But hello to the 3 concurrent viewers. I'm assuming 2 out of those 3 are Troll and Valor. So you're free to let me know if you're the other one. Sound off. Or if there's like more people than YouTube is telling me there are, like there sometimes are. And if there's something you want me to discuss this week, we can do that. Alright. Yeah, let me use some speech rec for a second here on this this tweet reply. Yeah, comma, this sort of person believes that unless you defend everything about them, comma, you must be attacking everything about them, period. It's extremely toxic, period. I oppose those particular tweets, comma, and that's why I'm not supporting them, period. Ultimately, comma, it doesn't matter what I say, comma, I'm right-wing, period. Somebody is accusing me of being a right-wing shill on Twitter because I had the audacity to criticize some atheists. Like, Christianity is not inherently right-wing, right? There are plenty of left-wing Christians. Fucking Martin Luther King Jr. was not right-wing. Yeah, right? Ego and its pwn says, "What's up, fellow right-wing shills? We got it." Yeah, I fucking can't stand that shit. Like, for real. We're dealing with people who they're used to getting their way by yelling. You know? And like Heather Leisure over here is just like, I'm just here to make sure Christian supremacy is not protected by reactionaries masquerading as leftists. Fuck off. Like, you're not making sure of anything. You're blocking literally everyone who disagrees with you, including 2 people who are in this video call right now. Well, I mean, at least in the chat of it. And like, your your whole deal right now is that, you know, anybody who disagrees with you is just more evidence you're right. And who knows? I might be a right-wing shill, but you haven't proven it for me yet. And there's plenty of evidence to the contrary. Ego says, noted right-winger Leo Tolstoy. Yep. Yeah. Fucking hilarious. Heather's over here saying BTW studies show that many atheists do actually internalize anti-atheist prejudice. I'm gonna bust off real quick here because I think I've got exactly the appropriate response. Studies. You know, I feel like that might get me banded, so I'm good. Oh, yeah, I need to switch to live chat. Thanks for the reminder, Valor. And Ego. I think. No, just Valor. I think it just chatted too quickly, so I'd fucking mix the two names in my mind. Yeah, okay. Well, noted left-wing atheist Ayn Rand. Yeah, for real. Yeah. I'm gonna say right now, let's do studies show that people who simply say studies show. Actually, you know what? I'll make this their like a full-on tweet in this thread here because I might as well. Let's do that. Let's do that. Fucking chat. All right. Yeah, because I need to make this very clear to this person that what they're doing here is not going to work. Studies show that people who simply say studies show without showing any studies don't actually know how studies work. There we go. One thing that's on my mind is the fact my mom this is Valor, denied the fact that Andrew Tate got arrested for you know what. Oh, I fucking accidentally I accidentally did my take a break mode. Yeah, Andrew Tate got arrested for that, and like it's after he did a whole series of things disproving any sorts of like any sorts of doubt in this regard. He fucking did that. He lured women into his shady business. He forced them to stay with physical violence. He committed fraud in order to make them financially dependent on him. He said that it was because they were stupid. He said women are stupid. So, you know, let's be super clear here. He got arrested for human trafficking after admitting to human trafficking on like a ton of streams, so. She said it was a lie and fake. What? Your mother needs to like unright wing her fucking chamber. Like holy shit. Yeah, Ego says women are stupid and I don't respect them, Andrew Tate. Yeah, like he literally admitted to beating women who didn't do what he wanted. he admitted to lying that there was taxes taken out of what they did, so that he could pocket the extras. He admitted to all of these things. He admitted that you get a bottom bitch, or as he said, a bottom bitch, because he's got a stupid fake European accent, to fucking to help him lie. He got a woman at the bottom to help him lie to other women to get them involved in it. And he had like 70 involved in this project, some of whom he would manipulate in order to, you know, like force them on the program, right? And then he admitted that he threw one of them out for vomiting on his property. He threw one of them out and refused them their month of pay. So that's fucking fraud. And like, maybe you shouldn't be getting girls drunk at your house. Maybe, see, and this is the real sticker here, is that he does not act like a Muslim would act if they were being Muslim. The Quran forbids being this egotistical. The Quran forbids building this kind of wealth so that you can participate in global degradation. The Quran would forbid the fraud he did. The Quran would forbid the fucking pretending to be a chick. There's so much he did that if he was like actually Muslim, he would be you know, in violation of the law of Allah. But you're not allowed to say that in right-wing circles, because they'll just fucking... Actually, let me check on something. I need to check on something. Because it would be funny. And I don't think it happened, but it would be funny if it did. Okay, alright. It didn't happen. I was checking to see if Zuby Music blocked me, because I tagged him in my thread about this situation. Because I literally, like, I just posted video proof that he's a terrible person. And yeah, there, like I said to tag fucking libertarians who support him. I'll start, and I tagged Zuby Music because Zuby had him on his podcast a while back to like promote his fucking garbage. And Zuby self-identifies as a libertarian. And regularly goes on libertarian shows. So there's a pipeline there, right? And so I tagged him, and like I've been told quite a bit that he is more than willing to block people over stupid garbage. So Valor says also Jeremiah OS 1's birthday, 051's birthday is today. Well then happy birthday to him. Him? Yeah, him. Right? I think. And the connection there, y'all can follow Jeremiah Zip if you want things that are absolutely unhinged on a regular basis, because that's the whole point of that account. Either way, if there is something y'all want to discuss, feel free. I'm gonna go over some comments, but there wasn't much content this week. I'm trying to get some shit done, not the least of which is a side gig that I took to edit this guy's book. So when that ends up being a thing, like, you know, I'll have a lot more time. But I've been working like pretty much this week on that, some connections. Today I did a recording for a podcast that will be out in about 10 days according to the hosts. And all of that is a thing that's happening. But also I've been trying to work on my second, like, serious channel. Because there's now the Jeremiah Does Stupid Shit on Camera channel. But there's also the Abyss, which is a channel y'all can check out if you want. And it's going to be a channel that I put, like, video essays on that will be as complex as possible. I want that channel to be thorough, approachable, and like easy to understand effectively. So Gonna check some comments now then. This might be a short stream. There don't appear to be many people here, and I don't have that many comments on my stuff this week, but we will see. We will see. Let's start with Odyssey, actually, because I might as well. We have one comment on only a Nazi wouldn't want to help Ukraine. It's funny. I have a splat on this video, but nobody actually said why. Fucking Finian says they prop up the financial system in many ways, and the war machine is one of the best. We were warned that standing armies were dangerous to liberty. Yeah, absolutely. And like, you know, we were also warned against foreign entanglements, but here we are, constantly getting involved in foreign fucking entanglements. So, you know, who'd have guessed it? So, yeah. That be one of them. So, flame and a heart on that one. Yeah, you get these fucking splats on Odyssey. That's their rating system. You either get flamed or you get splat. And I'm guessing the splat is like, you know, somebody threw a rotten tomato at you or something. I don't fucking know. So let's check the comments that haven't been addressed. We got Valor says chicken or beef enchiladas. I mean, it depends. Are you like making them right now, like with fresh ingredients? Because if so, I would say probably chicken. It withstands heat slightly better than beef in terms of the frying process. That is, if you plan to do like a full, like, you fry the things and then you put them in the thing. Oh, I mean, usually I end up eating chicken enchiladas, but I wouldn't necessarily say I prefer them. They're both fine. Chicken is cheaper though, for sure. Valor says he's having beef enchiladas for dinner. Well, that is good. Enchiladas are Knuckles the Echidna's favorite food. Fun fact. Troll says, I just had a variety a few days ago. Pork, chicken, beef, cheese, and bean. Good. So Valor on Skew said cool, so I'm going to thumb and heart that. Pedro Morera on Bernie and the establishment cucks to Biden on Yemen, vlog 161. Do you know if there's any truth to Barack Obama's mom, Ann Dunham, being a CIA honeypot? I don't know for sure. I can check into that though. Because I hadn't heard that, but it would not surprise me. I'll look into that. I'll get back to you. Let me write that. Fuck. There's no way to like mark it unread. I'll just thumb. Remind me on my latest live stream to in the comments to look into this. Period. There we go. Valor says on Merry Christmas vlog stream, awesome, so cool, best, yeah. So thumb and heart. Also, Merry Christmas on Twisted Anti-Censorship Christmas. Buster said, I love watching all your amazing videos. Use a service like I'm not going to say that because you're a scammer. Removing that. Mr. Knight says, on a Twisted Anti-Censorship Christmas, I just love that Tipper Gore's shit backfired and not only increased sales, but basically told kids what the awesome music was. Yeah, you could say that. Very Streisand-effecty. On I'm better at health science than Scientific American, Troll the Purpose says, so now that they're working on pissing off the entire globe at once, what country will they run to avoid getting whacked? You know, you say that, but the common person doesn't matter to them. Like they can get whatever protection they need just from social censure and shit like that. Like the common person isn't going to do shit, and those in power are them. So fucking I don't think that's a problem for them. Those in charge of the medical establishment, you know, all this shit. They don't give a fucking shit. Either way, thumb and a heart on that, and also Valor's comment there. MSS says on In Which I Meet John Zerzan and Talk Primitivism, Vlog 113. John Zerzan is basically a Democrat boomer now. Seeing him push the COVID vaccine, particularly hilarious. Okay, let me look into this. John Zerzan vaccine. Okay, so we're on Eugene. Weekly.com. Vaccines are the... Okay, so let me look into this then. It's sad that when a big ship goes down, it pulls everything down with it, sucked into a vortex. Looks to me a good metaphor for what seems to be happening as civilization begins to go down. Maybe nothing much escapes its pull. Most things are at least all... Okay, that... Much, if not most, of the anti-vax contingent also fills the conspiracy theory bill. Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with conspiracy theories. As long as your conspiracy theory is, like, well-founded. Wonder how many anti-vaxxers reject email, social media, smartphones, the metaverse. I mean, I reject the metaverse wholeheartedly. Holy shit. And I also reject a significant amount of social media. And you're a primitivist, aren't you? So you should support opposing all these things. When confronted with millions of confirmed COVID deaths worldwide, anti-vaxxers either ignore or downplay the facts. I don't, but that doesn't mean that the vaccine was going to stop those deaths. Those deaths were pretty much inevitable. They were going to have a certain amount of deaths from this pandemic. So, yeah, I mean, this is disappointing for sure. I didn't even know about that. So let me look into this a little bit more, and I will come back to you on that. Either way, thumb and a heart for letting me know. I'm gonna reply here. I didn't know about this. I didn't know about this position he took, period. I might respond to his articles with either an article or video of my own, period. Will let you know, period. Actually, I shouldn't say I'll let them know, because I don't know that I'll let them know personally. Feel free to subscribe for updates on that, period. On Column Busted, responding to Knowing Better's Dumb Columbus video, Stephen Wheeler says, I gave up after 5 minutes. I'm sorry, you're a girl. Sorry, your girl has to deal with somebody who can't last that long. I think that's a very poignant little response there. Valor says Q on the Nazi video. Thumb and a heart on that. Minty says the U.S. giving support to Nazis is not surprising. Just look at Operation Paperclip. Over 1,000 Nazis were moved to the U.S. and given governmental employment. They also had prominent positions in the UN, NATO, and West German government. They were viewed as necessary to counter Russia during the Cold War. We are now seeing the same in Ukraine. Yep. Thumb and a heart. And on racist AI facial recognition is coming to your city, Vlog 166, Valor says, wow. So, thumb and a heart. Either way, that looks like it for the comments so far. So let me know if there's something else you want to discuss. Valor says, another thing on my mind. I have a love-hate relationship with my therapy thing. I love the people I work for and I adore the community, but some of the clients I take the sessions of are ridiculous. Well, you know, that's one of the things where if you, like, if you open up your own practice, if you get all the degrees necessary to have a significant amount of clout, and you open up your own practice rather than being a state licensed or whatever therapist, then, well, I mean, you still have to get your license, but rather than being like on the state payroll, taking like whatever clients come through, then you can curate your client list a little bit more, and you can make sure that you don't get the people who aren't serious about the process or whatever. Fowler says they schedule therapy sessions just to reject help. Well, you're going to get some people like that. That's part of the industry. Like, honestly, I was one of those people in multiple ways. And I'm not real sorry for it. Because, like, the shrink wanted me to take bipolar meds and shit like that. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that. They wanted me to, go in to get my hypermetabolism checked, and I wouldn't do that. And there were things that I just wouldn't do. I was glad to know that I'm bipolar, but beyond that, not really. So, yeah. That. Either way, things. That looks like it. So, feel free to leave comments on videos. Valor said, another thing, I actually helped get rid of a pedo off the therapy team yesterday. Proud of myself for that. Well, also, just be sure that you, like, blast that. Like, that should be all over the internet. That person should be removed from everywhere. So, tweet out their Discord username and ID in order to make absolutely sure that they can't do anything with other servers or people, etc. So, either way, this is going to be a relatively short stream if nobody else shows up, so. If any of you have things you want to talk about in the chat, feel free to. But there's lots of content coming, and there's going to be lots of comments to discuss going forward. So, that. Also going to check some notifications right now because I might as well. Yeah, nothing there. Going to check on Tweltwer, see if there's anything there for me. Yeah, I need to respond to that John Zerzan thing. Okay, so update. Heather wasn't linking a study. Heather was linking a survey. That's not a study. It was a survey. A survey isn't a study. You can use a survey as data in a study, but a survey itself is not a study. Let me check what this survey was. This might be what the entire fucking call is about, is just responding to Heather. For the study, okay, so this is based on a survey, and a study was done, allegedly. Researchers surveyed 3256 people in 13 countries from North and Europe, Asia, and the Middle East, collecting data on their age, religious affiliation, and belief in God. Among brain teasers and random questions on a questionnaire, they included a query describing a man who tortured animals as a child and as an adult went on to abduct and kill 5 homeless people who are buried in his basement. One half of the subjects were asked, which is more probable, the man is a teacher, or the man is a teacher and does not believe in any gods. The other half were asked, which is more probable, the man is a teacher, or the man is a teacher and a religious believer. Kerry reports that 60% given the option selected the man as an atheist. Only 30% given the option selected him as a religious believer. So, in conclusion, about 800 people thought this guy was an atheist. What? That's your... Okay. Let me respond here. Also, let me check and see if she's got any other fucking garbage. All right. So, global evidence of extreme intuitive moral prejudice against atheists. Okay, let me look at this. Watch, this is exactly just the same fucking study. Mounting evidence, however, prosociality. This is a preview of... Okay, so you're gonna do that fucking shit. I have Unpaywall open, and for some reason it's still working. Like, it's still not working. So let me see if this is gonna be possible to even access. Because I guarantee you that this fucking person did not... Actually, you know what? Let me click this thing. Reports that a new study... Alright, so... This is... Okay, so... Smithsonian Magazine makes an article about a New York Times article about a study. So, let me click this New York Times article then. The new report... So, did they do that? Did this person just link... Okay, so it's not studies. You couldn't find studies. You found one study. One study from Nature Human Behavior in 2017. Okay. All right. One moment. And then SciPost. People are less tolerant of atheists expressing their beliefs at work. Compared to what? And also, for believers, fear of atheists is fueled by fear of death. Trust and trustworthiness of Christians, Muslims, and atheists. Okay, all right. Maybe there's more than one thing here. Let me look into this stuff live, because this is probably garbage. SciPost says people are less tolerant of atheists expressing their beliefs at work compared to Christians, Muslims, or Jews. Okay. It doesn't even say study shows. According to a study published in the journal... Okay, so it's another one of those things where it says, like, according to a study published somewhere else. And APA PsychNet explaining anti-atheist discrimination in the workplace. And this is an abstract. So, citation... I'm going to click this and see if I can get in. Because otherwise it's fucking worthless. If I can't read the study, get access. Okay, yeah, let me see if this is available in in Sci-Hub. I hope it is. Because this would be funny to read. Oh no, they're mean to me in the workplace. That's my evidence of internalized anti-atheism. These studies don't even confirm what this person is saying they do. This person didn't know enough about the study to actually care. And for some reason, the Sci-Hub extension is not loading it for me, so I'll have to do Sci-Hub. Piracy is based, by the way. Sci-Hub. There we go. I have to find the latest Sci-Hub mirror. Checking your browser, accessing Sci-Hub. We have detected suspicious network activity. What suspicious network activity, you cunt? You just want me to fill out your CAPTCHA so you get fucking money. By the way, these CAPTCHAs are part of a site's funding. And you're helping program AI. That's literally what it's for. Back to main. Into your reference. Open. Unfortunately, that's not it. That's not what I fucking said. Okay, let me look this up more specifically then. So we're dealing with DOI number rel. Okay. Let's see about this. Enter your reference. DOI.org. Open. Okay, so Sci-Hub doesn't have it. Sci-Hub doesn't have it. And it's not a free and open article. I don't think. So let's see. Get access. Okay. So let's look into this a little bit further. Based on the I'll read the abstract. Based on the common in-group identity model and intergroup threat theory, as well as the fact that atheists are among the most stigmatized groups in the US, a present experiment tested whether and why people would be less willing to accommodate atheist relative to Christian, Jewish, or Muslim employees' religion-related requests in the workplace. In 3 studies, participants responded to vignettes depicting an employee who requested to express his or her religious beliefs or lack thereof at work, for example, by displaying a quote at his or her cubicle or wearing a pin with a religious or non-religious symbol. As predicted, participants were especially unlikely to honor the atheist employee's requests. This effect was driven by participants' perceptions that the atheist employees posed a symbolic threat, i.e., were trying to impose their beliefs onto others. Studies show 2 to 3, and to a lesser extent, a realistic threat, i.e., jeopardize the organization's economic status and resources in workplace, though the effect of the participant religiosity, this isn't well phrased, were inconsistent across studies. The tendency for reluctance to accommodate the atheist employees' requests were slightly stronger among religious than non-religious participants. Implications for how anti-atheist bias at work arises can be mitigated. Alright. So, this person guaranteed didn't get fucking... You know, actually, let me see if I can just get the journal itself on Sci-Hub. Maybe I can just get the journal itself. Because that would be good. Also, I'm going to check real quick to see if I can find it on a different iteration of Sci-Hub. Sci-Hub is great, by the way. If you want a research paper and you can't get access to that research paper, then you can, like, oftentimes, not all the time, but oftentimes, find it on Sci-Hub. So let me see if it's doable here. Do you have it on this version of Sci-Hub or not? We will see. We will see, folks. Nope. All right. Cool. So I'm gonna respond here. So trust and trustworthiness of Christians, Muslims in the workplace. Actually, let me look into this first. This is an actual like full-on linked study, looks like. So, Wiley Online Library. Trust is fundamental to economic development. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so they don't trust atheists, is what... I mean, you're not really providing much reason to trust you, lady. Muslims and non-believers are trusted less than Christians. Hence, we show this result holds in an incentivized context for a U.S. sample from the general population. In addition, our study offers new insights to the literature on religion and trust. 3 novel findings emerge. First, we provide knowledge on why Muslims and non-believers are trusted less than Christians. Our results suggest that the higher trust of Christians is explained entirely by a Christian in-group bias. So, all right. Let's reply here. Oh, shit. She deleted the fucking right-wing shill tweet, guys. Oh, that's fucking hilarious. Okay, well, I'm no longer a right-wing shill, but she probably fucking blocked me. We'll see. Nope. All right, cool. So she didn't block me. I can reply here. Let me see about these studies. Don't actually know how study works. Another right-wing talking point designed to disarm atheists and throw us under the bus. The evidence and spread of anti-atheist prejudice is well documented. So, all right, let's look. Let's reply here. So, one of your studies is about 800 people selecting an unfavorable binary. The others are about how other people assess atheism. Let me think. Nothing here is about internalized anything. I'm waiting for your proof. I have internalized anti-atheist tendencies. LMK when you get that. There we go. Mischief managed. Yeah. Ego says, revised conclusion. Jeremiah Harding isn't a right-wing shill, but is still such a big meanie face. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, I'm not going to tolerate that shit. Like, there was nothing here about internalized anything. I don't have an internalized hatred of atheists. I'm much better off now that I don't have one of those belief systems. But you know fucking what? Some people aren't. Some people would be better if they were a Christian and told to love thy neighbor as themselves and turn the other cheek and not live by the sword. Some people would be better off with one of these belief structures, and it's not wrong for me to say that. And if you can't be a good person without having a religion, I would rather you have a religion. Okay? I would rather the world be a better place because people, who need it have religion. But this isn't fucking research. This isn't studies showing that I have internalized anti-atheism. This is studies showing that people will respond to loaded questions in a way that isn't favorable to your particular idea set. But like, what if it was 50-50 split? If it was more like fucking 600 by 600 believed that like he was Christian versus atheist, it'd be fine. Is that the conclusion we're supposed to fucking reach? Because holy shit. Also, this is bullshit anyway. Like, that's the closest we get to an anti-atheist bias. Because the rest of them are just like how you would feel versus those things in the workplace or something. And ultimately, none of these studies show anything about internalization. And all I was doing was criticizing a very specific group of atheists. I don't behave like this. I wasn't criticizing me. I don't have internalized jack fucking shit, bitch. Anyway, there we go. Jeremiah is based. LOL. Okay, alright. And Valor also says, agreed, my religion has made me feel a bit better. Well, that is good to hear. Some people benefit from it. And, I'm going to get called something or other for saying that, but it's fucking true. Like, and guaranteed this person didn't pay the $15 to read that study. They're just believing what this article said about this study and then telling me that I should believe it too. That's not how fucking science works, cunt. That's not science, that's regurgitation. Uncritical regurgitation. I'm going to blindly believe what these people said in this headline about this other thing, and that's going to be my basis for criticism of you. What? Shut the fuck up. Troll says, wow, they never asked me if I want to eat somewhere after Mass. Yeah. Fucking holy shit. And this person is just fucking spamming their quote tweets in my notifications now. I'm waiting to get blocked. That'll be fun when this person just blocks me. I mean, they fucking deleted their garbage, so fucking hilarious. And like, they did it because they know I'm fucking right. And they couldn't handle all the people coming into my thread being like, hey, yeah, this person isn't a fucking right-wing shill just because he has right-wingers following him. And because he disagrees with you. Those aren't the prerequisites for being a right-wing shill. I literally went on a podcast today and my primary criticism was that the right wing has like pretty much all of the power in America. And we need to have class solidarity and oppose state capitalism. But I'm a right-wing shill. And most of my content on my channel over the past year has been going against the right wing. but I'm a right-wing shill. And it doesn't matter who links what, I'm a right-wing shill. So I don't fucking care. These people are suck-ass. Like, they don't... just, holy shit. Holy shit. Anyway, I'm done with that subject. Fundamentally frustrating little fucking wine mom, Karen-ass, sucker-ass bitch. I'm done. Anyway. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe if you're new here. This is going to be a short version of this. Normally it lasts like an hour and a half to 2 hours. But it did not last that long this time because there weren't that many people in the chat or making comments. But there will be a lot of content to comment on. That's one of the points. I record with OBS, and that's one of the points where I'm like, shit, I'm not going to get this done in one take. Valor said, I don't have much... Well, you're fine. Now, I'm not saying anybody in this chat is bad. I'm saying that, like, we don't have many people in the chat. So, any of you are free to invite your friends if you want them to have a conversation as well. Because I'm relatively open to a variety of people. Either way, though, with that being said, there's going to be a lot of content, new channel, new variety channel, new variety sort of like insane delusional Twitter account called Jeremiah Zip, which you can go to if you want to feel like you have a mental illness. There's lots of new podcast appearances coming. I'm interviewing somebody tomorrow and Wednesday for AgoristNexus podcast, which, again, some people didn't know that I was here, like on AgoristNexus podcast, but apparently I didn't fucking advertise it well enough that I fucking edit and like record at least one podcast episode on AgoristNexus podcast a week, so might want to check the volume on the video, Eek. I haven't had that complaint from anyone else. There's a possibility that the video volume itself is low. And also, hello, Eek. You got here when I was wrapping up the stream, but if you've got some stuff you want to discuss, feel free. Because I burned through all the comments already. And I also went off on this chick who's been accusing me of internalized anti-atheism, which is fucking hilarious. Hilarious, I'll tell you. Oh. And Eek is the sponsor of this video. He's the one who's still willing to sponsor my content. He runs Liberty Professionals. You can get bug sweeps. You can, well, I mean, this goes on as long as the audience has stuff to discuss. So you can feel free to put things in the chat if you want. But basically, yeah, he runs Liberty Professionals. You can get bug sweeps, security consultations, papers served, and private investigation if you're actually in Texas, where he is now. He used to be in Virginia. And, like, there's a lot of stuff you can get from him. Basically, just, like, if you need something in these ranges, libertyprofessionals.com. He's board certified. He's years and years into business. He's very good at what he does, so feel free. Troll says, to see Jews as equal as anti-Semitic. Okay, yeah, exactly. I'm not saying target anyone. I'm saying don't target anyone. And I'm the bad guy. Holy shit. And, like, people in my comments are like, oh, but it's not the predominant... Shut the fuck up. If your country supports other countries because it's part of globalism, if your country supports, like, Saudi Arabia or something, then you should oppose Islam just as much because you're getting oil and resources from them too. Predominant. We live in globalism. Countries basically don't exist anymore. Shut up. Valor says, food suggestion. Vanilla yogurt topped with blueberries, chopped up strawberries, banana, dark chocolate, granola sprinkled with pistachio dust. I was with you till the pistachio dust. I'm not a big fan of pistachios. I'm not a fan of pistachios in the slightest. But yeah, Eek, if you want to like leave something to discuss, feel free. Ego says targeting specifically Christianity is bigotry. Yep. Yeah. Well, I mean, because okay, so pistachios, here's the thing about pistachios. They are unnecessarily greasy feeling. And whenever I eat them, I feel like I've consumed grease. You know? I just and it has this weird like ovally musky. It tastes like a vaguely buttery inside of an old shoebox. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, man. That's my impression of pistachios. Maybe I've just never had good ones. Also, like if I were to get pistachios, I would want them out of their shell, like pre-shelled pistachios. But when you go to a store, like, yeah, let me buy this big fucking bag of unnecessarily expensive like nuts and fucking this big bag of unnecessarily expensive nuts. Let me have to shell every one of those things either while or before I eat it. And like if I do it while I eat it, I sputter them on the ground, like littering the ground with my fucking drool. Like it's the same problem I have with sunflowers, except sunflowers don't give me that weird ovally shoebox bullshit. Troll says they work in ice cream and pudding. Uh, but I've never had I've never had good pistachio ice cream or pudding. It's always just had more shoebox flavor, but also other flavors that are better and could be better if left alone. So I don't know. Eek says they have a sentimental value to me. When I was a kid, my dad would buy the red dyed ones. We'd all sit around eating the. I don't know what the red dyed pistachios are, but I mean, cool. Family memories are good. Um, Valor says agreed. No shell of pistachio. See, that's part of my problem with all these things. It's so annoying. As somebody who used to work fast food and who occasionally had to clean up piles of people's sputter, God, I hate it. And like that's like just the fast food end of it. Like there are so many places which I could have worked but didn't where I just found like piles of people's sputtered fucking pistachio or sunflower seeds or whatever, and it's just like it's fucking disgusting. And I get that it's biodegradable, man, but like that doesn't mean we want your biodegradable garbage on our fucking pavement. That doesn't mean we want the biodegradable thing like to be accidentally stepped in on our non-biodegradable shoes so that it can be biodegradably tracked everywhere. Like if you want to talk like pandemic awareness, maybe don't sputter fucking bullshit onto the ground unnecessarily. Eek says they used to sell red shelled ones. Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about. I've never seen a red shelled pistachio. Sounds like a fucking Mario power up. Valor said people who sputter, haha, that's why I refuse to work fast food. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Fucking Ego says their response is just trying to justify that bigotry. Yeah, 100%. And then they block people for disagreeing with them. Okay, here's the response. Here's the update. Nah. So they say my actions say I do have an internalized hatred of atheists. Nah. I'm going to speech wreck this. You don't know my actions, period. You don't know me, period. You busted in on a thread that you would never interact with on a normal basis, comma, and you came here to attack me, comma, without any knowledge of who I am or what I believe, period. I attack basically everybody, period. I'm not a shill for anyone, period. There we go. So, yeah. Valor's doing emojis again. Yeah, so either way though, yeah. If you want to, if you have something you want to, oh, I do have one other thing. Oh yeah. I forgot that I was gonna bring this up. It's actually a good thing that I didn't end the stream because I promised I would try to remember to bring this up, and then I didn't. So, one of my server members, he said, "Want to throw this in there? I probably won't be able to catch the stream live just because of my sleep schedule, but I do want to contribute to the discussion and have a topic I want to hear you rant about. So I'm going to just post it here, and you can respond to it live on the stream if you like, and I'll watch it whenever I wake up and stuff. But like, a former member of the Hitler Youth just died this week, and that was all over the news. Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI. He fought for Hitler in World War II and was the Pope during the Catholic Church's CSA scandal. Also notable for calling gay marriage a threat to world peace. Lots of interesting stuff about that guy and ties between the Vatican and the Nazi Party, and since you're all about exposing Nazis, it would be great to hear an unhinged rant about the former leader of the largest denomination of Christianity was a Nazi and did Nazi shit." Yeah, well, let me bring up some context here, because I forgot to preload some context for the discussion, but one moment. So, ABC News. We got Pope Benedict dogged by Hitler Youth past, despite Jewish support. Oh, shit. So, this article is designed poorly. It's blocking some of the fucking article with the video. I'm gonna inspect element this video away. ABC News designed their site poorly and it sucks garbage hole. So I'm gonna deal with this here real quick. XB. Because for some reason it's doing that. Actually, let me see if, there we go. All right. All I had to do is zoom out a little. It didn't like my, I mean, theoretically. Okay, well, it was working. Let me I guess reopen Element Inspector. Now it works. When Benedict XVI ascended to the papacy after the death of Pope John Paul II in 2005, world Jewish leaders were nervous about the new German-born pope. Joseph Ratzinger had joined the Hitler Youth as a 14-year-old and went on to serve in the German military as 6 million Jews were sent off to the death camps. Though Benedict was eventually exonerated and even embraced by Jews, he called the Holocaust a dark time in his life. His German past continued to haunt him. When he was elected pope, a lot of alarm bells went off in the Jewish community, said Rabbi Marvin Heer, founder and dean of the Simon Wiesenthal Center in Los Angeles, who had a 1-hour private audience with Benedict when he became pope. First, it was about the Nazi aspect. So there you go. Yeah. And also, yeah, the Vatican and the Nazis. Vatican and Nazis. Because that's a thing all on its own. Newly unsealed Vatican archives. This was in 2020. Lay out evidence of Pope Pius XII's, I think that's it, knowledge of the Holocaust. The Catholic Church's actions during World War II have long been a matter of historical debate. To critics, the pontiff's refusal to publicly condemn the Nazis represents a shameful moral failing, with devastating consequences. In his polarizing 1999 biography of pious, British journalist John Cornwell argued that the religious leader placed the papacy's supremacy above the plight of Europe's Jews, winning a modicum of power and protection from the rising threat of communism by becoming Hitler's pope and pawn. Supporters, however, say that Pius's silence was calculated to prevent German retaliation and ensure the continued success of the Catholic Church's behind-the-scenes efforts to aid victims of Nazi persecution. That just sounds to me an awful lot like the Jews who worked for the Nazis. And for those of you who don't know, let me just read some stuff from Tablet Mag, which is a Jewish magazine that talks about the Jews who worked for the Nazis, because there were plenty. What was the safest place for a Jew in Hitler's Germany? A cellar or an attic? A forest? At home with a well-connected Aryan spouse? The answer was in Hitler's military, in the Wehrmacht, the Kriegsmarine, or the Luftwaffe, at least until the tide of war turned, and all three began to suffer staggering losses. Some said the Luftwaffe was the best bet because Goering protected his own. Whichever branch, wearing a uniform was like slipping into a coat of armor or invisibility. I made this, and this was written by Ellen Feldman. I made this astonishing discovery while delving into the literature of the war and the Nazi occupation of France for my novel Paris Never Leaves You. According to Hitler's Jewish Soldiers by Brian Mark Rigg, thousands of full Jews and more than 100,000 part Jews joined the military of the Third Reich. The stories of these men and of the psychological as well as the physical hazards they endured altered the book I had originally set out to write. Some of the Jewish men who fought in Hitler's military had been drafted. Others were patriots whose fathers, grandfathers, and uncles had served in the Imperial Army in World War I and dutifully enlisted. One survivor described himself as a German first and a Jew second. Jewish allegiance to Germany in the early days of the Third Reich is one of the great unrequited love stories of history. So, if you want to read that full article, it's available. But basically, yeah. So yeah, let me finish this and then I'll talk about that. I didn't see the chat. So, yeah, I'll look into that very shortly. But basically, yeah, so everybody was working with the Nazis. The Americans were working with the Nazis in the form of IBM, Bayer, Ford, Disney, just everybody, really. Coca-Cola made an entire whole Nazi Coke. The U.S. government themselves was totally fine working with the Nazis, both before, during, and after the war. Like, the CIA had the Galen Org, and NATO had the Bundeswehr. There were plenty of Nazis in high command in NATO. There were plenty of Nazis in NASA. There were Nazis just everywhere. And the Vatican was no exception. Like, they basically did the bidding of like, Germany during that time. And they did all of this, allegedly, to protect them, to make it easier on the Jews. But it's like, no, you didn't, because you were helping these people, and behind the scenes, what? You made it slightly easier on them while making it overall harder? You could have just joined the effort, but fighting Hitler wasn't the goal. The goal was to have Hitler be a perpetual way to expand global power, get a bunch of money, and otherwise fuel the racket that Smedley Butler accurately predicted would happen in World War II, in War is a Racket. So that's what that was. So Eek says, any progress on the Liberty Movement scammer investigations? Oh yeah, so I'm going to be starting to do that shortly, looking into some things that have been reported to me. But mostly that's been like on back burners while I get a bunch of other stuff done. Like I have to make like $400 by the end of this month to get some stuff off the ground, and also to pay rent. So my primary goal has been to do things like that, and really like hammer a bunch of side gigs out. And so I've been primarily focused on one of them, which was editing a book for this guy, and a bunch of other stuff that I've been involved in. And so that sort of stuff has been on the back burner. But I do plan on investigating quite a bit of this stuff. Like, according to you, Larkin Rose basically scammed you out of $5,000. I'm going to be asking him about that at some point because I am curious about that. And because it would be good to know if his book thing ever came to fruition. I remember that. And I remember thinking, like, you know, it'll be interesting to see how this pans out for people who buy those books. But you say he didn't even buy, or he didn't even give you the books, and so you're out 5,000 and you don't have the books. So that's an interesting thing to potentially uncover more about for sure. Rasin says, "I'm late. Happy New Year," and confetti. So Happy New Year. And Happy New Year to everyone as well here. Okay? I'm curious. Rescind. What's software plan? I didn't hear about Larkin Rose's software plan. That's very interesting. Feel free to let me know more about that. He says he ignores my emails now too, and that he's just asking for his original 5K back. Well, I'll see about what I can do in that regard. Probably around the beginning of next month, I'll start to ask some questions, because that certainly is interesting. Rasin says, wasn't Jeff Berwick involved in a land scam? I didn't hear about the land scam. Oh, Galt's Gulch. I think maybe you're talking about that. Yeah. So Valor says, IDK if it's YouTube being weird or people keep leaving. And Ego says there are 2 people watching and 4 people in the chat. Yeah, YouTube lies. They don't want me to think I'm doing well. It's a psychological operation, man. They're watching me. Eek said, okay, well that would be interesting. Rose was developing a software that walked the user through a series of questions designed to lead people to anarchy. Okay, well that's interesting. I didn't know about that. Yeah, well, this is all stuff to look into for sure. But either way, yeah, I'll see what I can do in that regard. Because that is an interesting prospect. I was always curious as to whether anybody made their money back on those books, for sure. Let me ask you, can you send me any sort of screenshot information confirming that the payment was sent? Because that would be helpful in this regard, and certainly helpful for accountability. And I'm certainly willing to do it, because the thing is, I'm trying to get as much accountability in these spaces as possible for sure, but I need some sort of stability in that regard before I start jumping in effectively. Ego says he's fundraising a movie version of his Jones Plantation short story. Yeah. Valor says time to study the psychology of YouTube. Also, my psychology teacher told us about how he saw a guy fall headfirst and crack open like a melon. I mean, that happens. That's kind of, if I had to pick a way, that would be the kind of way I would pick, because it would be over immediately and irreparably. I would not be a vegetable after that. Has everyone read the Twitter files? Tons of censoring, shadow banning, etc. at the corporate level with plenty of government involvement too. Confirms everything we knew. Yeah, I read the Twitter files, and I also talked about quite a bit of it on my channel here. There's some Twitter videos recently you could check out in that regard. I might do a full-on condensed version of them at some point on my new essay channel I'm building. But the primary goal this month is to get that 400. So that'll be what I'm trying to get this month, is basically enough. Because, okay, so the email newsletter service that I'm using currently is owned by Twitter, and it's one of the things they're axing. They are axing that, and like it's part of the whole like pruning thing Twitter is doing. And basically what that means is that I need to, before the 14th, when they're axing it, I think that's the date. It's either the 14th or the 18th, but it's one of the two. I need to establish a private mailbox here in Spokane so that I can have a business address that I can tie to an email newsletter, because Substack, MailChimp, they all require an address to be used. And if I get a business address, I can send it out, but they put your address at the base of every email, which means that if you aren't like, if you don't have a business address, you basically have to dox your house in order to have an email address, or an email newsletter. So I've been like trying for a bit now to get enough baseline capital to do silly things like pay rent and also get that thing. So that'll be the goal, is to get an email newsletter going through a different service than Review, because basically Review is shutting down, and I still want to have an email newsletter. And that's one of the reasons that I haven't been sending out an email over the past month and didn't send out a thing. So Eek says business email address is easy, and I know that the email address is easy. What's less easy is running a full-on mailing list with all the features that are provided by people like MailChimp, which is like scheduling and shit like that. Like, I'm not talking about the address itself. I'm talking about, like, because I could do that tomorrow. What I'm talking about is like a physical address that each one of these mail loop services like MailChimp and Substack, etc., needs in order to, like, because apparently there are anti-spam laws. I wasn't aware of this, but it doesn't surprise me at all that there are anti-spam laws where effectively you will get penalized if you don't have your business address at the bottom of your emails, because if it does turn out to be a scam, people have a way to contact you to serve papers and shit. It actually makes sense, and I'm not saying it doesn't, but what it means is that, like, because that was the reason I was using Review, is to get like a free newsletter that I wouldn't have to pay like for a mailbox in order to use. And this thing had that. It had that, like, that for some reason it didn't require having a business address at the bottom. So that's the thing. So if I can get that, that's what I'll be doing with it. I'll be starting my, like, a private mailbox so that I can, like, effectively start that thing, get like a business address that I can use for other purposes, have a Substack, have a MailChimp for separate purposes, and also, generally speaking, have access to a business address that I can receive packages at and use as a hub of operations here in Spokane. So that's what I'll be doing with that. And once I get like that sorted out this month, it's going to free up a lot of potential for February. Private mailboxes are oddly pricey. You know, you would think that if you need a big one, sure, but like I from what I researched, I could get my first 3 months of this new one for $100, and then I would just need the rest for like rent. So that's the goal. So, like, generally the mailbox will be there for business purposes, for the emails, like newsletter lists, and for like other purposes affiliated with that. So that's what I've been focusing on and why I've been like oddly quiet. I've been trying to do as many side gigs as possible to get that sort of thing off the ground. Also, share my content on Facebook if you're on there. Like that's I think my boss pays $240 a year. Well, that's actually a reasonable price, but um, like he probably needs a bigger box. That's my guess. Um, I'm just gonna get the tiniest box because they do package holding in the back. Like I used to have a private mailbox where I come from, and basically they would hold the packages in the back and put a slip in your box, just like a post office. And if you did that, uh, like you would get a call that said you have a package, and or you would be able to like come in and say, hey, I have a package, I have a slip, and so I didn't really need a bigger box, and I wasn't receiving that much mail. But like this would basically be my way of being able to contact the outside world business wise. So that's what I'll be doing, um, ASAP, and that's the reason I've been doing as many side gigs as possible this last month to try and not only because also January to April is the silly season of content creation. Ad revenue doesn't pay as much. Um, there aren't as many people sending money because it's like around tax season and shit like that. So I've been trying to like basically get my money up, and also I'll be moving to a place very shortly that will have higher rent costs. So when I do that, I'll need more like support in general. But I'll be doing it so that I can make more and better content for y'all. Because basically, this bedroom has not been working as well as it should. Racine says, I think I paid maybe 90 a year in 1994. LOL. Envious. But yeah, I'll be seeing what I can pay. Either way, yeah. Like the Facebook comment was just basically like Facebook pays me for content. They're the first platform to do that. YouTube still has not after all these years. Twitter never has because, of course, they didn't. And Facebook is the only one who did. Um, and so I've been making some money on Facebook, and the more people share, like, etc., my content there, the more like support I will get from that income stream. So that's the whole thing there. Either way, um, that's the general goal, is to get a better base of operations. New year is going to be a very interesting time, to say the least. And like, there's a lot of content I want to make. There's a lot of things I want to do, and I'm gonna try to earn the support that I've already gotten, and try to earn more by putting out like really highly edited and well produced essay content. That's the goal coming up here soon. You, I won't be like this far away from the mic. You'll be able to hear me talk like this directly into my microphone, the way it's supposed to be used. This is the way you're supposed to use these microphones. It's supposed to be much more professional, and normally I don't do that because my content is more casual. But when I start making these video essays, you'll start to hear a much more professional side of me that's going to be much more illuminating of certain subjects because I will be covering them in depth over many videos. Valor says, my ears. Racine says I'd share more on FB, but it's mostly my family and literally old ladies in my friends list. Well, yeah, it's fine if you don't, but liking even helps. Like basically, I get paid for interactions on Facebook. So the more people interact in a given way, the better. Also, if you like join any politics groups on Facebook, you could share it to those specifically. Those still count. So Valor said, I have my volume up way too much. Oh my fuck. Well, here, let me ASMR you, Valor. Let me ASMR you by whispering into the mic. Is this more what you need for your content? You can hear every tiny little pop and click of my saliva. According to YouTube, I lost two viewers just now. They couldn't handle how ASMR that was. Stip. What bird cuck? Yeah, I've caused Valor to have a seizure. Yeah, so like there's gonna be a lot more this year, and I'm gonna start cranking it out like on a more uh, reliable and regular basis. And I'm gonna try to earn the support that I've already been given and earn more. That's what I'm gonna try to do, because my circumstances gotta improve. I gotta start climbing this social ladder here. So, either way, this is, I think, around the end of the stream, unless there's anything anybody wants to talk about. Either way, there's lots to look forward to in 2023. And if y'all want to support me, support the effort to get this mailbox, support like things like that, the support links are in the description. Eek and Rescind already support me. Like, I'm not asking for anything more from them. But basically, oh, I got all twitchy? I'm always twitchy. 100%. I'm not sure what you're saying. Either way, Eek says, glad I made it. They already support me, and I'm not going to ask for anything more from them. I mean, I'm not going to say no if it happens, but, like, ultimately, like, I need as much support from as many sources as possible. That's what I need. And also, there's this get in the credits thing. I need to know from everyone involved in supporting my content whether or not you want to be in the credits of my content. So let me know personally. Because I tried contacting my Patreon patrons through the messaging service, and they didn't let me know. So I don't know whether or not they want to be in the credits, and I haven't included them for that reason. I know certain ones of them didn't want to be in them at all. But basically, there are going to be actual credits with patron thank you section in the video essay content. So, Ego says, sure. All right, will do. Let me know if you want me to link your to use your name or your channel name. Like, send me the name you want to be referred to as in the in some sort of messaging app or something. Ego said, I don't check that shit. Well, I don't think you were a patron at the time I asked. I asked a while back and didn't get any responses in the message center at all. So, Rescind says, I don't care. Rescind is fine. No links. Ego says, channel name, please, will do. And I'm assuming Eek would want to be Liberty Professionals, because that would direct people to his site. So I'll do that with him. Let me write that down, actually. Sort of an impromptu business meeting. We do very serious business here on this channel. And I have one of these voices that can do one of these very serious voices for very serious investigative purposes, but I don't use it because I think this is dumb, and I think using this kind of grave voice too much can wear out the efficacy of this sort of voice for impact and effect. So, Rescind says I should look into voiceover work. I mean, I'd like to, but I can't, you know, I've put out the call like a lot that says I'll do voiceover work if you want. And the only person to ever hire me for voice work was Ego. So if anybody has voice projects they need an actor for, feel free to hit me up. Or like, for instance, if Finian wanted to do an ad for his business, I could definitely put one of those out. Like if he just wanted a well-edited video for his services that he could post on his site or something like that, I could definitely consider compiling one of those for libertyprofessionals.com. So, I need an agent. Well, you know, I've never had an agent, but I would definitely like take the help if people wanted to just like, hey, I hear you've got project coming up. Do you want guy with unnecessarily large shoulders to do his voice for you? He can do that if you want. And Taking Freedom is the channel you would want, right, JD? Dude, okay, that's interesting. She said, I had a boyfriend long ago who did Buffy the Vampire Slayer ads. I have watched every episode of Buffy at least once, and every episode of Angel at least once. Alright, so you want the ego and its pwn listed. We'll do. I'll title this file Credits. But yeah, Eek, if you're still here and you want somebody to support, to make a video to like sort of bring people into your business, feel free to hit me up and I will produce you a video ad with like your services and a slideshow and fucking interesting images and shit. I could probably make a lot of ads for a lot of businesses, and you would just hear this kind of voice. Or this kind of voice. If you want something more positive, I can do this voice too. I can be upbeat. Do you like this? Is this kind of upbeat what you're looking for? I can also smile with the side of my mouth. I learned to do this when I was trying to look like a cartoon character when I was a kid. Do you like that? Is that good for you? Anyway. I just sawed this boat in half. Yeah. Fucking, that's a lot of damage. Of course, that guy's like sort of higher up, like sort of like, that's a lot of damage. There we go. But yeah, like, I can smile through the side of my mouth. Is that good for you? You like that look? Anyway. This could be fixed with flex tape. Fowler wanted me to say that, so. Yeah, well, either way, now that I'm done with my sort of temporary voice reel, like Early Grace, I don't know who that is. But either way, yeah, that there. It's always funny when I do that side smile thing, because this entire part of my neck lights up. It's like, don't do that. I'm going to cramp soon. Brad Pitt's early work. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've never... So is that a good movie then? Should I watch Brad Pitt's earlier work? Alright, well, I will check that out at some point. Either way, though, we are bellying up on 90 minutes. So, with all that in mind, if y'all decide you want to support, either share this content or, you know, shoot me some Patreon. There's lots of ways to do. Ego, Rescind, and Eek already support on a monthly basis. So thank you to all of you for that. Hoping to actually earn it this year. So, that. With all that being said, I hope y'all are having a fantastic New Year's already. And yeah, I got some stuff I gotta take care of, so smash the fucking state.